So Kerry, we've just had the most amazing experience for 3 days. I've just interviewed a couple of guys on their testimonials. We just had a share there. Everyone was emotional. You've had a deeply, deeply impacting effect on everyone's life. But talk to me, what is truth to you?
So we've shared a lot of this during the 2.5 days. Truth to me, first and foremost, is heart alignment. So we tend to mostly get caught up in our minds, what shows us the thoughts, limiting or empowering beliefs. But truth for me is, what does the heart say? So you can evaluate all the logic, business logic, life logic. Ultimately, you're going to have to make a decision. And you're making a head decision or a heart decision. So for me, truth comes from the heart.
And once someone discovers their truth, what is their potential?
Unlimited.
You see, I think that's one of the things that I find most powerful in what you provided here is, the name of it is Leaders in Truth. And ultimately, what I've learned from you is you unlock the truth, you unlock the potential, if that makes sense. Tell me, a second question would be, why leaders, and why such a beautiful environment? Like, why are we not sitting in Sandton?
Nothing wrong
or
with
London,
Sandton.
or
London.
Sydney, or wherever,
Yeah, so I think leaders, leaders is quite a broad term, but I think as a starting point, leaders are people that drive community. So, and drive business and drive all sorts of, communities. So I guess, there's a difference. I always see this picture in my mind of the difference between a boss and a leader. And a boss is someone who kind of pulls people along, whereas a leader kind of guides from behind. And I think leading anything, whether it's a political party or a business or a community, comes with a lot of responsibility. One, to lead correctly, and two, to do the right things. So why leaders? Because I believe leaders have the opportunity to make the greatest impact in the world. So that's why I believe working with leaders is important. Why in nature? Because what better way than getting out of your normal way of thinking, getting outside of the constructs of your mind, which is like, yes, we can continue to do this work in an office or a building or a busy city, but here in nature, what's so beautiful is that you can run a process, you can take your journal and you can go and sit out amongst the trees, the mountains, the beautiful foliage, and you can just literally at peace gather all your thoughts, put your thoughts down, go through a process of contemplation, re-evaluation, and then come back into a room fresh going, okay, now what do I do? And then being able to come in and share it. So you're already as a leader, you've kind of got a whole approach to life that's very different. You have a very specific purpose, and you're going into a fresh setting to reset and reevaluate that. And then ultimately, like a want for me personally is that the leaders that we work with can go back and make the biggest impact.
Yeah. It's just interesting what you just said there, because for me personally, we all have busy lives. We all are husbands and wives and business owners and everything, okay? And yet to disconnect from the world for 3 days and to come give it to oneself is one of the most priceless gifts you can give yourself. The last question I wanted to ask you was men. So you've specifically chosen men, and that's quite a unique thing, Why?
Without getting too political about it, I think there are enough organizations that look after other sexes. Women are massively in the media in terms of the attention that they need and the support that they need. And whilst I fully support that and get behind that, I don't necessarily want to compete in that space, because I think it's pretty well covered. In addition to that, I think you can, there's a number of organizations that do mixed gender retreats, and that's great as well. But for me, it's about niching. And I think there's something very special about having a group of men together where you contain the male energy and you're working purely with that. There's something about only men being in a room or in a process where we can say what we truly believe in quiet, in private, knowing that none of that is going to ever be shared external to that container. So we can truly be ourselves. And the thing is as well is that there's an old saying that we all know, and that is that cowboys don't cry. In truth, when we can deeply connect with our emotions and we can allow ourselves to cry, that's where the deepest healing happens. And if we can do that in a space where it's just men and we create that safe container to allow ourselves to do that, so beautiful.
Back to that word truth, that truth and potential. Well, look, dude, I just want to say thank you so much to you. I've had the privilege, and I'm not boasting, I'm just trying to point it out. I've done Tony Robbins in Fiji and Vegas and London and Roger Hamilton in Bali, and you name it, I've been there and done it, got the t-shirt. And I don't say that to be arrogant. I say that to encapsulate a couple of things. The first one is that this venue is outstanding. I mean, it is absolutely world class. Like if I was to get away from the world for 3 days, this is a spectacular place. So well done on that. And everything, the hospitality, the food, it was incredible. The second thing I'd say is your facilitation was amazing. Like, and when you talk about these men connecting, like I watched men, including myself, but I watched other men like literally evolve from caterpillars into butterflies. Like it's been wonderful watching that process over 3 days. And the third thing I would say is that you've got so many unique things, and you know, I won't go into the detail because that's the beauty of it. You're going to have to, well, I don't know, you'll have to tell us where people can find it. But the point is, it's a unique experience and it's one you won't find elsewhere. And I can tell you that because I've been all over the world. I've tried the best, and this is as good as it gets in the world. So I highly recommend coming along. I highly recommend coming to find your truth. And most importantly, if you believe that you've got potential to have an impact on this planet, then you need to find your truth, and here's your man to help unlock it. Cheers.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it.